One of the first topics I wanted to address to help our customers and fleet managers is to talk about the top 5 things that we see come through our shop that if we stayed either on top of the service schedule or got ahead of it, that we would avoid much more costly repairs downstream. In no specific order, the top 5 things that we see that could help avoid more expensive repairs down the road are oil changes done on the recommended service intervals. 2, brakes, making sure that your vendors are checking the brake pads and replacing when they're doing the general maintenance. Checking tires to make sure that they're not getting all the way down past the wear indicator, that if you touch anything on the road, it causes a puncture and makes the vehicle go out of service for a period of time or towed. Air filters, I'll talk about that in a bit. And then if you're running diesel trucks, making sure that the drivers are trained and at least educated to be on top of your regens. The first one is simple oil changes completed on the general maintenance schedule. It's extremely common for us to see vehicles that are well overdue. And when I say well overdue, I don't mean 500 or 1,000 miles. Some are 5,000, 6,000, double the interval schedule. We had one that went as far as 20,000 miles. Obviously, this causes additional engine wear and tear. It could cause engine damage and ultimately failure. Being on top of this will help avoid tons of potential expense downstream. Second thing, if you're a fleet manager, you should be holding your vendors accountable when they're doing routine maintenance inspections to check brake pads and provide you those measurements of whether or not they're to the point that they're worn and need to be replaced. What happens most of the time is that the drivers come in and report the fact that their brakes are grinding. And when it hits metal to metal, it's too late. What the net result is that we end up not only just replacing the pads, we have to replace calipers and rotors, which is triple or quadruple the price of just slapping on a set of pads that could be done on an interval when we see that they're wearing down. Tires are number 3 on the list. Our clients have varying degrees of what they'll tolerate within tread depth, but what I can tell you is that if you're on top of this, when it starts to get down to a certain level, you're better off just replacing the tire. Because once the tread gets thin, it's not only a traction control issue at times, but it also makes it very easy to puncture. And of course, that always happens when the vehicle's in the middle of the service day or has a load on it. Air filters. This is another simple thing that goes along with oil changes. What happens when air filters aren't changed and they get clogged is that the fuel runs too lean. That simply means that it's putting too much gas versus the air mixture in the cylinder. That causes the mileage to drop. It causes power loss. If the air filter gets clogged enough, it can cause it to misfire, or if it's degraded enough, it starts shooting stuff into the engine itself, which will create very expensive repairs downstream. Your shop is part of the general maintenance. Anytime they come to check a vehicle, should pull that, check it for you, photograph it to make sure that you have documentation of what's been done and the condition that it's in. The last one on the top 5 list today is diesel regenerations. If you have diesel vehicles, they all run DEF fluid, which is part of the environmental requirements on diesel trucks. Upstream, before the DEF gets injected into the exhaust, is what's called the DPF, or diesel particulate filter. And what this does is will accumulate soot. A diesel regen is really nothing more than heating the motor hot to heat that soot up and convert it to ash. On a number of trucks, there's actually a button that says parked regen that you can hit when your drivers are stopped, delivering loads, and so on, that will help eliminate this. We have calls weekly that come out to regen trucks. What happens when this particulate filter gets filled up is a check engine light or DPF light comes on, and the truck goes into what may be known as derate or limp mode. When that kicks in, the vehicle's performance is reduced. Some will limit it all the way down to 20 miles per hour, and the vehicle just won't go. Getting on top of the regens will help you avoid this happening. Thanks again for your time walking through the top 5 today. I appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe, comment, right? And as always, if you'd like to develop a customized plan for your team and fleet, feel free to give us a call at the contact number below.